And ladies and gentlemen, coming back on the Sunday debate after a couple of weeks, sorry for my absence, and let's start right away. Well, this has been a very packed week. 5 days ago.
Sunday Debate with Arnab Goswami, powered by Ola and Kent RO.
And ladies and gentlemen, coming back on the Sunday debate after a couple of weeks, sorry for my absence, and let's start right away. Well, this has been a very packed week. 5 days ago, one clique, which I call the lobby, wrote a letter to the Prime Minister. And what did they do in the letter? They were perpetually fear-mongering about the state of the nation, the only thing that they can do well. They reinforced the Lynchistan narrative. They sullied the holy slogan of Jai Shri Ram. They parroted the usual lobby lie of the dissent being in danger. Absolute rubbish. We have dissent on Republic every single day. Nobody's in danger. 4 days ago, we were compelled to question them for their hypocrisy. They refused to answer. In fact, then they pounced at the Republic Media Network. They said we are partisan. They said we indulge in whataboutery. But what was our fault? We made them squirm. We made them squeamish. That was our problem. Then 2 days back on the debate, we declared a war of reason, a war of logic, and a war of fact on this lobby. And today, there's been a counter letter. 49 quote-unquote self-proclaimed intellectuals on the one side, with 62 very respected citizens of India on the other. After this is my introduction, I should not be interrupted. After that, the entire nation came together to question the self-serving, deafening outrage of the lobby. Wherever you go in India today, you speak about this lobby. People ask me, what's the lobby? Well, I will describe it in the course of the show, but suffice to say at the start that the subject of debate today is, 1, can the lobby preach to the nation? That is the subject of the debate. Hashtag nation versus lobby. The lobby must defend itself. Premise of the debate is this: if you want to say that this country is going down the drain, if you want to say that this country is only a country where human rights are violated, trampled, minorities, Dalits, everybody feels unsafe, where suddenly since 2014 this country has turned into a rapistan and a lynchistan, then A, you must be subject to counter questioning, B, you must answer the questions, which is the premise of the Sunday debate. We want them to answer the questions today. And hence we've got strong speakers from both sides. On my left, people I disagree with. Sarah Shahali, writer and activist, very, very strong supporter of the lobby. She feels that the lobby is constantly targeted. She feels that by asking questions about the silence of the lobby, we're calling them anti-nationals. We're not. But are there anti-nationals? There are many. Mayank Shekhar, my very old friend, well-known film critic, usually a peaceful man. Let's see if he keeps his peace on the program today. Kunika Sadanand, pleasure seeing you after a long time. She's an actor, she's an advocate, she's outspoken, she doesn't take rubbish, but neither do I, Kunika. So we are going to have a good debate today, aren't we? And Ravi Srivastava, you're sitting right there at the end so that you allow others to speak today, Ravi. That's your punishment posting on the other side. Political analyst and founding member of the AAP, Ravi Srivastava. On the Sunday debate on the other side today, Tuhin Sinha, young leader of the BJP and a fantastic writer of fiction, let me tell you. Tuhin, pleasure to see you. Pratibha Prahlad, Padma Shri, culture activist, very eminent dancer, someone I respect a lot. Pratibha, it's a pleasure to see you in our Mumbai studios. Welcome. Ashok Pandit, activist and filmmaker, who usually can take on 8 people together. But Ashok, please let others speak too. Because people otherwise think that I'm partisan and I'm on your side. I am on your side, but I'm not partisan. And Samir Soni is here as well. And Samir, besides being a friend of mine, actor and a very outspoken citizen of this country, which is, it's a rare mix because I don't know many actors who are outspoken. Nowadays, actors behave like diplomats and politicians. Kunika is an exception. Samir is an exception. I'm glad you're on 2 other sides. We give 2 minutes to the introductory remarks. Hashtag lobby versus nation. One side will win. The tweets will be on the screen. And the context is, can the lobby preach to the nation? Either one of you, pick an opening speaker on one side. Kunika, your hand goes up. Ravi, please let others speak. Kunika opens the debate for the first 2 minutes. Kunika, go for it.
So first of all, I'm going to talk about the 49 celebrities. They spoke about the Jai Shri Ram chant being used as a war cry, Yudh Udghoshna. They spoke about the lack of the karwai, the people getting convicted who have already been charge sheeted with lynching or whatever. And they spoke about the dissenters that are called Deshdrohis. I find nothing wrong with that. On the other hand, the self-appointed people that Arnab refuses to say that they're self-appointed, he calls them celebrities. I don't agree with you. I think every one of them, all the 111 have got equal credibility. They wrote that they wrote something. I don't know who they wrote the letter to. Did they write to people who wrote to their prime minister? And
they wrote an open letter.
No, 1 second. Don't interrupt me, Arnab. I have to finish. And then they're preaching to the nation, and they're preaching to us that we are not supposed to write to the prime minister, and they're reiterating that there is mob lynching going on. So what is wrong? Basically they're all speaking the same language. They're saying the same thing. They only have an objection that why did you not say Hindu when you wrote Muslim, Dalit? Dalits also Hindus. OBC and SC are also Hindus. So that was the reason why they suddenly this. And I really want to ask you that.
Ask them, not me.
I mean, you're on their side, Arnab.
No,
I want to ask you that does a person in this country have the right to write to an elected representative or not? Does a person who is a right-thinking person, who has got some kind of intelligence, who is a person who makes a difference in society, is an influencer, can they not make the people see what is happening? And it is happening. Are you going to sweep it under the carpet and say it's not happening just because 69 think it's not, 62 think it's not happening?
No, silence. I want to first of all, who's opening on this side? And please be gracious to each other. Pratibha wants to open, and I think Pratibha should be allowed to open the debate today.
2 women opening, yes.
2 women opening the debate today.
Yeah.
Yes, please. So Pratibha, you are responding. You finished your points, Kunika. Yes, you're not going to complain later. I was not allowed to speak. No. This is an intolerant channel, partisan, that are indulged in whataboutery. Thank you very much. Pratibha, go ahead.
So my point is that for the longest ever time, this lobby has held public space, and they have come in and they kind of appropriated to themselves the role of being spokespersons for the downtrodden and the marginalized. Now, this is the first time, I mean, in the last 4 or 5 years, that they have found some sort of another voice coming through, and they can't take it because this lobby has, for the longest ever times, got doles from the system. They are kind of, ideologically biased, and they pick and choose their causes. For example, they themselves say in the second letter that they have a cause only for the marginalized and for the Dalits. So what we are saying is that we are concerned about citizens. We are concerned about humanitarian concerns. All of us are concerned about lynchings and everything else that happens in our country. So why do they pick and choose the time, a day after Chandrayaan was launched and the whole world was treating us for being in the big club of 4, and when we're feeling happy about ourselves, the very next day they have a press conference and release an open letter to the Prime Minister saying address lynchings. Don't they know that law and order is a state subject?
Madam,
don't they know that there are laws
she got
that the Prime Minister has already spoken against lynchings in the Parliament? Don't they know that that there's so
Okay, 20
many
seconds are over,
people
ma'am.
of, you know, of the Hindu
No,
group.
no,
I mean, it's not fair.
10 more seconds to her. Continue, 10 more seconds.
I mean, did they ever speak about,
Ashok, let her speak for herself.
speak about Hindus being lynched or beaten or being downtrodden? Did they ever, I mean, my main question is, did they ever ask Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, to respond
I didn't know.
when Nirbhaya happened?
Okay, thank you. That is the
Did
time
they ever
limit
do
for the
that?
gong. On the objective debate tonight, the question has been raised, therefore, on the lobby's selective and convenient hysteria. 1 minute. The lobby's convenient and hysteric outrage. The lobby's selective and convenient silence. Whichever way you want to put it in. Open debate. Open debate. Ashok, when I point my finger in which direction, that person speaks. Saira, please.
Okay, so now Arnab is accusing that there's a lobby on this side. However, we can also allege that there's a lobby on this side, what I'll call the right-wing lobby, the saffron brigade, the communal brigade, and it can go on. So let's not get into euphemisms. Let's talk about collective action, okay? So the fact is, the letter,
want an escape
the
route at
letter
the
that
start.
you're supporting
Escape
of the
route, collective action.
Of the 62 celebrities, nowhere have they denied the lynchings are not happening.
That's why we are
So
sensible people.
Why can't 111?
Saira, this is exactly what we are trying to say.
Ashok ji, my turn.
Saira,
Please
this is
give me.
exactly what we are
Ashok
trying to
ji,
say.
don't
That
heckle
this
me.
entire
Don't
cabal,
heckle me.
the
Ashok ji, don't heckle me.
the frogs which
My
come out
turn to
during
talk.
rains.
Okay, let us speak. Ashok, you will come next. Ashok, patience.
My turn to
Why
talk.
before elections?
Patience.
Please
Why
don't
before
heckle me.
elections?
Patience.
You will get heckled.
Ashok, patience.
Why do you do that
You
always?
will get heckled
You
when
did
your
this.
turn will
You
come.
did this
Another-
before.
Ashok, patience. Ashok, God has gifted you with a strong voice. Doesn't mean you abuse it. Thank you. Continue. Patience. Patience. She continues. No, you wait. I'm telling you to
I
wait.
haven't
Continue.
finished.
I will come.
So
to you.
why can't
My God, you're a
111 celebrities-
bursting balloon of adrenaline.
Why
Go on.
can't 111 celebrities mount a tirade and say that yes, India needs anti-lynching laws, whether it's a Dalit, whether it's a Hindu, whether it's a Muslim.
Who started
any
it?
kind
Who
of
started it?
spontaneous.
Who
One
started
second,
it?
one second.
Let us-
One second.
let us-
This is
Who
wrong,
started
yeah.
this
This is wrong.
nonsense? Who
Any
started
kind
it?
of
Did they approach us? Did they approach
This
us?
is not fair.
Always.
Any kind.
Ravi, two people. Ravi, let her speak. Ravi, don't come in. Ravi, don't come in. Not on a Sunday debate. Wait a minute. Let her complete. Ashok, you wait. Ashok, Saira, continue.
This is not fair. He will let you talk when you're
Ashok, Ravi, don't come in. Ravi, one request I have for both sides is, it is in your interest if there's one speaker from your side at one time. That is all I'm requesting. Let her continue.
See, 1 second, please, Ashok ji. I need 1 minute.
She's making a
without
strong
any
intervention.
interruptions. No, please, 1 second. Stop heckling me. Stop bullying.
समझ में आ गया यार पिछले 25 साल
बोले
कौन सी नई
Okay,
बात है
so
Boli,
now
boli.
it
Don't heckle.
suits the narrative of the dispensation if they have a parallel vigilant army running, because they can get into plausible deniability. That's they were not government representatives who were carrying out the lynchings. They were a fringe group. So you let the vigilant groups run active, run amok, and they carry out this vigilantism, these activities in the name of
Whoa. Okay, you made your point now. Now. Who's coming in from this side? Who? No, he or him. You decide among each other.
One second.
Don't be like, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma.
Arnab,
Please.
I want to expose this entire brigade, entire cabal of the frogs which come out during rains.
Look at them and talk to them.
Rains, you know.
Yeah, look at us.
These
This
frogs, they
cabal.
come out before rains.
जैसे ये frog 25 साल बाद आया है बाहर। ये 25 साल चुप थे।
are those people who come out before elections. So when elections are about to happen in Bengal and other states,
The way you
they start
carry out
crying,
lynchings
they start
and
shouting and they
rioting.
start
Now
I need to come in here, please.
The way you carry out.
I'll come after. Let him complete. You can.
Allow me to talk.
Kunika, deal with him directly.
Allow me to talk.
Kunika and Ashok.
Allow me to talk.
They wrote the list of people that they wrote were the ones who were killed in the Bengal election. Why did you keep quiet? Why did you? Because you thought that the BJP doesn't.
Ravi, continue. You can make
Why?
a.
You kept quiet.
Ravi, don't. I'll come to you later.
While the elections were going on until the 23rd of May. Because they were.
Ashok. Okay, Ashok, listen to her and then speak. Ashok, listen to her. Ashok.
के बाद
They kept
आप
on
लोगों ने
shouting
अपने
that India is
संगठन
coming
मेंढक बाहर
back.
निकले हैं।
The Prime
23 मई के
Minister
बाद
came back
23 मई से पहले जो
because
मारधाड़ हुई
Ashok,
बंगाल में,
तो ये
किसी ने छू तक नहीं किया।
Ashok, will you stop? Will you stop? Ashok, wait a while. Ashok.
बस हो गया आप लोगों ने जो लेटर में लिखा था ना, जितने लिस्टिंग किया ना 62 लोगों ने, वो सब इलेक्शन के टाइम
Sameer, hold him. He never fit.
आप चुप हो जाइए।
अब आप लोग कहाँ
जब
थे?
सिखों को मारा था तब आप कहाँ थे?
आप लोग कहाँ थे? आप लोग कहाँ थे?
हम लोग
जब सिखों को मारा था, बोलो राइट बोलो, आप लोग कहाँ थे? आप लोग कहाँ थे? हमसे मत पूछिए। Please don't take names and personalize things. It's about the country. It's about the country.
Ashok, you got to stop. Ashok, you got to stop. Ashok Pandit. Ashok, 1 minute. Ashok,
Arnab Goswami. 25 साल के कल shut up.
No, he's got to stop. Even he's got to stop behind you. Tell Ravi to stop.
25 साल ये कह रहे 25 साल
You have got a tacit understanding.
Ravi, wait. Ravi, wait.
You are provoking them deliberately. You are protecting them.
अशोक पंडित जी,
Ashok, you got to stop. Ashok Pandit.
किसी का नहीं सुनेंगे.
I'm warning you. You stop now. 5 times I've told you in the last 5 minutes. Wait, please wait.
अशोक पंडित जी.
अशोक
पंडित जी.
Ashok, wait. Ashok.
कौन? आप लोग के लॉबी में
कोनिका.
अशोक पंडित जी, 1 मिनट.
Okay.
आप लोग
Ashok, stop.
चुप रहेंगे कि नहीं? भाई बोलने दो.
सिग्नेटरीज है 49, इनको बोलिए यूपी से फंड है, इनको बोलिए
आप किस में से निकाले फंड? अभी नेक्स्ट प्रोग्राम आप अगले संडे उनका फंड निकाल के देखिए.
इनको बोलिए.
मैं देखती हूँ अर्नब गोस्वामी
अगर
किसके
इतना
साथ.
इंटॉलरेंस
अच्छा, चुप हो जाइए.
अगर इतना इंटॉलरेंस है तो पैसे क्यों ले रहे हैं सरकार से?
Yes, to stop.
आप अपने साइड के लोगों को भी नहीं बात करने दे रहे हैं.
इनका माइक
हमको मत सिखाइए. हमको मत सिखाइए. अब हमको मत सिखाइए.
अशोक जी,
हमको मत सिखाइए.
आप भी हमको मत सिखाइए. 25 साल से आपने भी कहा कि हमने ये देख रहे हैं 25 साल तक आप क्यों चुप थे?
किसने बोला चुप थे?
अभी आपने बोला 25 साल से आप देख रहे हैं इस लॉबी को, तो आप 25 साल से क्यों चुप थे? 23 में से पहले आप क्यों चुप थे?
आपने हमारा गला घोट के रखा हुआ था. आपकी सरकार ने
I think we are Saira, Kunika and Ashok. To all 3 of you, I'm making a request now. See, you notice that 3 of you are speaking, 5 of you are quiet. This is not a good situation. Secondly, more than one person speaking from one side at one time is not a good situation. Thirdly, Ashok, listen. I think your points will be far more lucidly understood if there is not other person speaking over them. So if you allow me today, let's try in a different kind of debate on Sunday. Because I want strong points to come from both sides. But the danger is your strong points may not be understood if they're screaming from both sides. Now, at the risk, I know this is ironical coming from me, but I'm still making the point. See, I tell you one thing. The question is, and Ravi, please, I come to you, Mayank, any of you. Tuhin, I know you want to come in. No, my point is bring you back to see, we will demand punishment for those who lynched Tabriz in the most barbaric manner, Saira. Let me tell you this. I will, with as much rigor, call for action against the mob that killed Tabriz as with anyone else on a lynching. But there is a lobby. My point is, Mayank, there is a lobby which speaks up to brand India as Lynchistan. As a country where Jai Shri Ram, they say, is a war cry. As a country where dissent is being crushed to dust. Now, this lobby must tell me, why were they silent when a Muslim man was threatened for reciting Hindu chants? I give you a very specific example. There's a 55-year-old Muslim man. His name is Dilsher. What was his fault? He read the Hindu scriptures like Ramcharitmanas. He was beaten up and threatened by Muslim youth in UP. I feel this lobby should have at that point of time said, if a Muslim man wants to recite Ramcharitmanas, it is completely acceptable, not just acceptable, it is a reflection of the country's diversity. However, no, my point is you agree with me today, but when it happened, I did not find any worthy comment from any of you. That is my issue, the selective and convenient silence, and you can't shout me down on it. Yeah. Because if you shout me down on it, it is a reflection of your anger at the fact that I'm asking you this question. See, these are very pointed questions. Please give me pointed answers and tell me.
So basically the way I see it, Arnab,
Yes.
and I think all of us are on the same side, which is the side of India. I really hope that you agree with me, Ashok. The difference is, it's like an episode of Mahabharata. There's one arrow going this way, another arrow going this way, dish. But that's not how it works, right? I think both of us believe in this country where we live. And I think both of us in that side, do you agree with me or not?
This is all platitudes,
No, it's
I'll
not
tell you.
platitude.
Well, no,
No,
it's
it's not
not. One
platitude.
minute, just a minute. I'll tell you why it's a platitude.
I'll tell you why.
No, one minute.
It's
Just a minute.
not a
Mike,
platitude.
Mike, you're a friend of mine, but if you make platitudes, I'll respond.
No,
You
let me
respond back.
finish, no.
You hit me back. But don't stop me from hitting you back. One second. I'm countering you now. You don't want to hear a... My point is, listen. Every time I ask a pointed question... No, I'm letting him finish. I am letting him finish, but I'm asking him a counter question. He is an adult. He can take my counter question. No, why are you, both of you, giving covering fire to him? Can I ask him a counter? Mayank, my counter. Mayank, my counter. You won't take a counter from me? After all these years of knowing you, are you so intolerant that you won't take a counter from me? After all these years, you are so intolerant today. Mayank, has it come down to this? Are you behaving like Shabana Azmi? Listen to me.
Listen. Your question, your counter is going to be a very simple one.
You don't know my counter. How do you know my counter?
Tell me if I'm wrong. Your counter will be a whataboutery of what about then? Where were you when? Where were you then? Right? The point is very simply. The point very no, that's not politics. No, that's not politics. You know what that is?
Let him complete. I say let him complete.
There are various issues in this country and in this world, right? There are some people who truly believe in the security of minorities. That's the prime concern. For me, my prime concern is climate change. It's their choice. Arnab is not debating climate change, but that's his choice. If they choose to only highlight this particular fact, and that's really what bothers them, I can't see what's possibly wrong with it.
Okay, may I please? Can I come in and Stohin will respond? He hasn't spoken. See, I'm just making an observation that whenever I ask these questions, where were you then? The answer is India is a democracy. We are a great country. We should all be on the same side. Listen, I need a specific reply because these are not. There is a Musa army, right, which is now being put out there. There are ISIS flags put up by masked men being paraded on the streets of Srinagar. There is a temple in the Pilibhit district in Uttar Pradesh ransacked. The Hindu idols in the temple are removed and thrown away. The priest is beaten because the minority community said the devotional songs being played on loudspeakers are unacceptable. A 55-year-old Muslim man who since 1979 has been reading the Bhagavad Gita and the Ramcharitmanas is beaten up in 2019. A Hindu-Muslim couple in Coimbatore, Muslim men, moral police and beat up a Hindu-Muslim couple because the girl in her FIR said the following. They asked me if I was a Muslim woman and then abused me with unmentionable words. There is a Hanuman temple which is desecrated in Khatauli. There is a Muslim mob in Surat that not was countered by tear gas but almost had a murderous assault on 5 policemen. See, this where were you then question is not whataboutery. It is a litmus test of whether you apply the same standards on everybody that you demand of one specific community. If you don't, then you will be accused of being against a particular community. You must understand,
Arnab,
if Sam Pitroda says, last point, that the massacre of more than 3,000 Sikhs in 1984 is hua to hua, I feel, where was your outrage then? I asked the viewers of the Sunday debate today, is this whataboutery or is this a very straightforward question? An SFI mob, and since you support the left, on 12th July 2019, Akhil Chandran, a student, was stabbed brutally, murderously by 20 SFI people because he refused to listen to their order, right? Now, where were you, if you are such experts, and I'm closing here, what your expert says is taking one case study and creating an image of India. What about these case studies? You don't use them because it doesn't fit your image of India? Now, you are class. No, I haven't made my point. My point is that those who villainize Jai Shri Ram today. Last point, and I'll close here. Those who
have you seen those videos? Have you seen those videos?
In Ranchi, a Muslim MLA to say Jai Shri Ram, is that right? In the parliament, you have Jai Shri Ram being shouted, is that correct?
First of all,
in our country,
which is giving reverence to Sita Maiya along with Ramji. Okay, Jai Shri Ram came partially died. Originally, it was Jai Shri Ram.
Arnab, I've been hearing all these allegations for the last...
Okay. Now he's not spoken.
Now let me respond with some facts.
Okay, don't shout him. Don't. Ravi, and Saira, you should not shout him. Ravi, you should not shout. Okay, tell him to listen. Ravi, listen.
Wrongly propagating it.
It's not right. Don't shout him.
Okay, Arnab, let me get at the core of it. What is an intellectual? Who's an intellectual? An intellectual is somebody who's supposed to think afresh, who's supposed to have new ideas. For the last 17 years, these people have basically been changing the dates on their letters, rehashing them, and sending the same letters. You've spoken. Let me complete my point.
People were returning.
I don't think you should shout him down. I think you should hear him. Mayank, I think they should.
You come from... Let me counter you.
Let him speak. Ravi,
You come from Bengal.
hear him, please. I request you. I hear him.
You come from Bengal. Last year in Islampur in September, 2 students were murdered in broad daylight. That was state-sponsored intolerance. Why were they murdered?
Where were the
They were no, please, you don't even know where they were murdered. So you read the newspaper over here. 2 students were murdered in broad daylight in Islampur. Why? Because they needed physics teachers and they were thrust Urdu teachers. They were protesting. So this was state-sponsored intolerance in Bengal. You did not protest.
How do you know?
Number 2, are you not aware of Kalia Chadra riots, Malda riots, Bashir riots, where the Sapra was a majority community? Did you protest? You talk of a slogan. You are trying to... Let me complete here. You've been...
Let him complete. Saira, you should let him
defame a very pious slogan in the last 3 or 4 weeks. The minority community in the heart of Delhi, where Raviji, your boss, rules today, in the heart of Delhi, they desecrated a 200-year-old temple, raising certain religious slogans. Did you take this?
Did you see
in Ranchi,
Who did it?
they tried to ransom us raising those same slogans.
Who did it? Who did it?
You don't have a problem with those slogans.
Who did
You have a problem with Jai Shri Ram. Please understand. Please try to educate yourself. There are adequate sections in IPC to deal with hate crimes. There are adequate sections in IPC to deal with state hate crimes. It is the responsibility of each state government to take due action. You ask your CM to take action.
Why don't you make a law?
I want to
Okay, so can I just check one fact? Can I check one fact with them? Can I ask you a question? One minute. Ravi, please don't respond. Ravi, the question. Just ask him to wait. Ravi.
How to deal with the mob
Ravi, you're talking
Why
about.
the states are
Thank
not
you.
following that? Why the states are not following that? पिछले 1000 सालों में hate crimes होती आई है. 1979, I was growing up in Jamshedpur. I saw the worst riots in Jamshedpur. Had a whole lot of hate crimes. This is nothing new. We have taken.
You did a massacre in 2002 in Gujarat.
In the state, people died. According to the constitution of IPC, the state government should not act. Why blame the center?
60 people in Gujarat. Who did it? People in 1994. The Congress killed people in Kashmir. The basic pillars.
So can I Ashok a while. So Samir.
They were massacred.
Samir. Ravi. Ashok, what is... Thank you, Ashok. Ashok, thanks. Okay. Saira, you want to have a debate without me, then you can. But if I'm asking so many times to ask you to stop, then you must. No, Ashok, wait. Ashok, wait. My point is therefore, can I indulge in some conversation without you? One second. See, please listen here. Are you therefore, just checking, and I want to talk to you, don't shout it. Are you telling me you feel that you are not obliged to answer why you were silent on the other cases. Just one of you at a time. No. I'm asking. No. Just a minute. Kunika, look at me and answer to me. I'm not talking to them. Kunika, listen to me.
I'm answering to
Kunika. You are
Every second state is ruled by BJP. Tell the BJP
We don't abuse Prime Ministers. We don't create an atmosphere of intolerance. We don't create an atmosphere of intolerance. We don't do business of intolerance.
Ashok, you are disturbing the debate now. Ashok, I am requesting you let others come in. I am not being able to moderate the show because you and Ravi are talking to each other. Please wait, Ravi, 1 minute, please. I'm on a very moot point, and on this I need 5 minutes. Please. And please answer in brief and tell me, and then we can have a conversation. Don't answer me through him. My question is, are you saying today, with all seriousness to everyone watching the debate today, that in all these instances where you remained quiet, when there were brutalizations and much more gruesome incidents, and even the ones you're mentioning, allow me to complete, don't be in a hurry, where people were killed and murdered and stabbed and massacred, that you feel that you are not answerable for your convenient silence on those matters?
Can I answer?
Yes.
So you just asked me why we did not answer when all these brutal things...
No, I'm saying whether you feel obliged at all to answer for that.
No, do these 62 feel obliged to answer? Let me complete now. The 62 feel obliged to answer to all those listings.
So here's counter to you. I'm speaking to you.
No, you after.
No, it's counter to you. No, counter. Small counter. Yeah, of course you'll counter me. Of course you'll counter me. 1 minute. So basically what you're saying is...
No, I haven't finished, allow me. 62 people gave a listing of how many killings happened.
No, I don't get it.
They said before the 23rd of May this happened. Why were they keeping quiet? Were they worried that if BJP doesn't come into power, they will be exposed or they will be threatened? Why did they keep quiet?
Just a minute. Ashok, I'm speaking to you. Kunika.
We have faith in the Prime Minister. We have faith in the Prime Minister, which is why we addressed the letter to him.
Let us not talk
Ashok, wait.
I'm talking to
Ashok, wait, man.
You're extremely powerful.
Ashok, wait.
When you're calling somebody else
Ashok, wait.
You're powerful. The power is with you.
Ashok, wait.
Right?
Of course,
please. Please continue to. Just be nice.
Is with you. An overwhelming majority. 1 second. Ashok ji, an overwhelming
talking to me. I was talking to Arnab.
Arnab can be threatened by a minuscule minority. An overwhelming majority.
Ashok.
You're extremely arrogant.
Ashok.
25 years, 50 years, you didn't power.
Ashok, you
power
cannot.
is with you.
Ashok,
You're powerful. You're extremely powerful. You're extremely powerful. You're amazing. You're great. You know everything.
Mike, you're overdoing it.
I can't help but heckle you.
I'm asking once again out here. Therefore, the point is apparent to me that you're saying that if you people are supporting the killers of Tabriz, then we on the other side are with all the fanatics who've done everything wrong, including hacking cow owners, including murdering those who say Jai Shri Ram. This equivalence that you're building here, saying we are not answerable. You are answerable for your silence. If they would be silent on what the hotheads would do, they would be answerable. But you are equally answerable for your silence on the multiple instances I'm giving you. No, because more importantly, Kunika, you hear me. If the question is, can you preach? You cannot preach today because your silence on all these instances is so apparent.
Can they preach?
It's so apparent. You need to. Either you explain to me why were you silent in those cases.
I just explained
the biggest instance of intolerance in the country was in 2010 when in Kerala a Christian
Sarah, let him finish. Sarah, wait.
By a PFI activist.
He will.
Konika, RSS activists have been killed in the last 10 years by PFI activists. Have you ever protested? They're not Indians for you. RSS activists are not Indians for you.
Who killed Gauri Lankesh? You answer us.
Communist did it.
Communist
Gauri Lankesh. What are you saying?
What is narrative? People from your organization came.
Ashok, don't do this. Ashok, please stop, yeah. 1 second. Saira, first of all, I object here. I restarted. I requested. He was making a point. Within his third word, you started speaking over him. You start having a panel. Then I request you.
My opening,
you're playing the victim card like this.
Saira, I will come to you, but speak over. I want Samir to come in. I want Samir to come in. Samir, 1 minute. Samir. Kunika, 1 minute. Samir, Kunika.
Okay,
see, I will keep asking these questions. Why were you silent when there was caste discrimination by Muslims in Moradabad? Why were you silent when a 46-year-old man, Naresh Saini, I'm telling you what happened in Haryana, you know, axe was taken and his face was completely disfigured with multiple stabs to his face. A gandasi or an axe was used. At that point of time, it's all recent. I'm not talking about past history.
That was wrong.
No, it was wrong too, but it happened just about yesterday. Why
yesterday
was
something else?
Why did your 1 minute?
Okay,
Samir, the question will be asked. Why did this lobby at that point of time pretend not to read the newspapers, not watch television, or get the news on their phone? They did, but they chose to look the other way. Samir,
I've been quiet so far. I
have.
Yeah, let's give
crossed the line. I
gentleman.
haven't objected or interrupted anyone. Firstly, Kanika said that they have all the right to express themselves, the 49 people who are experts and, you know, won awards and stuff.
No, there nobody is according to Arnab.
No, whoever. Okay, come on, let me talk. Let me finish.
Ashok, let him speak.
Ashok, don't interfere, please.
Please, let me, just 2 minutes. And I totally agree with you. They have a right as much as 49 farmers from Haryana have the right. Fine. And as far as I'm concerned, as far as the political process is concerned, their say is equal. Just because you're far educated or whatever doesn't mean you have your different right. You have one vote, that person has one vote. So that's one other question. Now, to me, so that doesn't really matter, the letter, because anyone could have written that. But what is the motivation is what I kept thinking, okay? What was the motivation of the letter? Right? Okay, so let me finish, right? Give me just 2 minutes. I was listening to a lot of interviews by Ms. Saparna Sen, and she was asked the question, and she said, we want to educate people about lynching, all right? So I said, well, if she thinks that you're the only person reading the newspapers and television, then she's mistaken. We all know lynchings happen. Okay, so it's clearly not only about lynching. Then it comes to the slogan being used, Jai Shri Ram. So is she talking about specifically about the lynching done by Hindus? Because in the letter, nobody says Allahu Akbar, Hail Jesus Christ, or says Vaheguru the Khalsa. Well, let me finish. Let him
finish. He's making a cogent point. Let him finish.
I'm just making a point that what is the motivation? So clearly it's not to educate people about lynching, since we know that. And so you have singled out Jai Shri Ram. So are you saying that indirectly, in some weird way, that it is the Hindus who are responsible? Because that's the message you're getting. Well, let me finish. But that is the message you're getting across. You could have easily ignored that. 1 second, let me finish. And as far as Mayank is concerned, and he said, look, we both are coming in the same direction. No. Where you're coming from depends on what your motivation is. I'm asking, I would have been completely in respect with this. In fact, had they just figured not include a religious angle to it. And also, if you're intelligent, educated people, like most people are, you know this is a state subject, right?
Yes.
And they said, we put so much of effort to write this letter and this and that. Well, you put so much effort. You are 49. We have 20-odd states. Just give to the state person. Or single out a single case which has been ignored. We will appreciate, admire you for that. So the motivation of the letter is highly skewed, highly suspicious.
A point here, one second. Samir, factual point taking up from what you are. No, factual point. Ravi, wait. No, you know what? I'm moderating the program. So Ravi, just hold it. I need to make occasional interventions. So just direct the debate. Don't show impatience. You see, and nobody questions your right to write a letter.
Yeah.
To the President of India, to God Almighty. Nobody questions it. You have every right. The question was, however, that in 2008, there were the highest numbers of incidents of communal violence in this country. One. In 2008, all the 49 people who've written then were also prominent then, could have written then. The question was of the mahal that has happened because of the number of incidents of communal violence. In 2008, it is the decade's highest, 943 incidents of communal violence in a year, right? 2,969 incidents between 2009 and 2013. 9,228 people were injured, 442 people were killed. Every month, allow me to complete this. See, I'm on fact. Sure. Every month, 61 communal incidents happened in the UPA, which means every day, more than 2 communal incidents happened. This lobby knew about it. Where was your letter then? Okay. Was there a Prime Minister of this country then? Was there a government then? Were there incidents then? I will give you one. No. I'll tell you one more. I'll tell you one more incident. I want to give you the example. So you need to understand where I'm coming from.
I really hope you give us time to
After
speak,
that, I will give full time.
Yeah.
No. What you people do is, I give a specific thing, then 4 people start shouting. You want to avoid the question.
No. Please finish.
One of you. No. What you do is first you decide which one of you.
I'm going for it.
He's going for it. So my question to you was simple. That I have just proven to you that Manmohan Singh too, maximum, unbelievable number of communal incidents, people killed and injured was in Manmohan Singh Congress too, with a strong Congress. In fact, the situation was so bad, Mayank, I hate to tell you, in a village called Vedgarh, in Maharashtra's Buldana district, right? October 2013, I'm telling you, Dalits were facing a social boycott. They were denied milk and flour, atta. There was an attempt to starve them openly. Congress NCP was in power. Where were the letters then? In 2012, so make it apparent to your absolute and utter and dirty hypocrisy, in 2012, a village was torched and ransacked and Dalits were targeted. Homes were burnt. Where were you then? And I'm not doing any what about you. I am saying, did you know English then? Did you have access to a typewriter or a computer? Could you have written a letter? Was there a prime minister? Was there a chief minister? Please answer me.
Answering. Can I answer now? Basically, Arnab, what you're saying is that in 2019, all life's problems of this country have been solved.
I am saying, again, you are doing what about?
No. What about me?
I am asking you,
what you are doing.
Why did people? Why were these people? One line. And you don't need anyone to. Mayank, my question to you. My question to you. Don't allow them to shout you down. Mayank, my question. Ashok, don't spoil it. Ashok, don't spoil it. One question. Mayank, I am asking you a simple question. You and me. Do you need covering fire from others? Mayank, do you need covering fire from anyone? Can you not answer me? Mayank, listen to me. My question to you was simple, and Mayank, you're not even letting me state the question, which is a reflection of your insecurity. My question to you is very specific, and Gunika, politely, I'm asking you to be quiet for a while. Mayank, listen to me. I'm articulating. No, if you're not allowing me to articulate the question to you, then it's problem, and I won't give up. My question to you is, were all these people prominent then? Were the incidents horrible then? Was there a government then? Did you have the power and the influence to raise your voice then? Could you have written an open letter then? Could you have put it out in the media then? Why was it not done then?
Yes. Right? Now you've read the letter. You know that the letter specifically only speaks about lynchings. What are your statistics?
I have just given you lynching.
What are your statistics on lynching? No, give me a statistic on lynching. Tell me if it's gone up or not. Has it gone up or not?
Of course it has.
It has gone up, right? So if there
it has gone up then, it has gone down now. The number of
lynchings. I am talking about clearly. The letter is only about lynchings. You read the mail.
This is a silly thing.
You read the letter, right?
Okay, who's contradicting?
Let me contradict.
Okay.
You know, Arnab,
I have not finished.
One versus one. One versus.
He'll have to answer me.
You speak to Mayank.
I'm speaking to you.
Speak to Mayank.
And please answer me after that, okay? There are a couple of points that you raised. You first spoke about how these are so-called intellectuals who've been saying the same thing for 17 years. There are
they have not been saying.
Who've been saying the same thing for 70 years, okay? And our problems are getting worse. And I think environmentalists will keep saying it every single day, right? So that you do not do any fresh thinking about the world's problems. They exist and they should be spoken
But you did not speak about the world's problems then.
They're only normal lynchings. Let me finish.
Don't accuse the community.
That mail is only 1 second. Just 1 second. That letter is totally only directed at one single point. That single point. Let me finish. Guys, let me 1 second. Ashok, 1 second.
Never accuse community at all.
So now you tell me. 1 second.
Okay,
do you have a specific problem
Arnab, that's not fair.
with
You're not listening
there
to
being
us.
legislation that makes. Do you have a specific problem with there being legislation that makes lynching a non-bailable offence?
Okay,
Do you have a problem with it? Do you have a specific problem with it?
Let me enlighten you a little more about lynching.
Do you have a problem with that law? Just answer no first. Then you tell me. Do you have a problem with that law? Do you have a problem with the law? Do you have a specific problem?
Okay, he's made a point on the law. I'm making a point. Thank you. 1 minute. I'm making an intervention. No, wait a while. Before you come in, 1 minute. Wait. He makes a point about a law and he says, do you have a problem with the law? Now, let me explain one simple process issue to you. It's not a technicality. Just wait a while, okay? And have the patience to listen.
Yes.
Terrorism.
You'll allow us to speak after that, right?
I don't want to waste my time doing this. See, terrorism is a major issue in this country.
Yes.
Terrorism from the late 80s onwards, right? It really increased in this country till the 90s. And then around 99, 2000, it was peaking. At that point of time, there is a strong and considered view that you need a very strong law against terrorism. The usual process for this, Mayank, let me educate you, is that the government makes up its mind to have a law. That time it was the Vajpayee government. You people are now in love with Vajpayee. At that point of time, what did Atal Bihari Vajpayee do? Atal Bihari Vajpayee told the Law Commission, right, that I need you to really draft a law. The Law Commission, in the process of drafting a law, had consultation papers, because if you do not consult, then you'll be told you're a dictatorial government. You do consultation papers, you call stakeholders, you hold seminars, and you come up with a draft law. Then that law goes to the law ministry, it goes through vetting, political approval, and then moves. Now, I am happy to inform you, whether you believe it or not, you want blinkers.
I'd like to believe it.
You want to believe it. Unfortunately, your lack of information shocks me.
No, it doesn't.
This is, allow me, it does, because this is exactly what, by the way, the person you hate, Narendra Modi, has initiated.
Firstly, nobody hates Narendra Modi.
Allow me to complete the statement.
I don't know why
I said that to provoke you. I said that to provoke you. The person called Narendra Modi is who you love, is the very person who has initiated the very same process with the same body, the Law Commission, for the framing of a strong law on lynchings. Now, what the hell more do you want?
So what do you want to be on?
It defeats me. Lynchings. Unbelievable, viewers. Okay, Cohen is on the debate. Go ahead.
Just give me 1 minute.
Cohen is on the debate.
The Parliament is almost getting over. They have passed so many bills.
I'm coming to
No.
Give
They
me
passed so many
60 seconds of
bills.
speak up.
Sir, this is not fair. To this side, you have to let them speak. You are not letting him speak. He's on his feet. He's on his feet. You are not letting him. He's on his feet.
Let me further enlighten you on lynching. There are two mindsets in this country which naturally support lynchings. One is that of the Islamists in Kashmir, and the other is that of PFI, which often has been seen as a recruiting agency for ISIS. You know the saddest part? The Islamists in Kashmir today enjoy the backing of Mehbooba Mufti and Omar Abdullah and the PFI.
Arrest them. Why are you not arresting them? Arrest them. You have the law and order in hand. Arrest them.
Attention by focusing on Jai Shri Ram logos. It is only obvious that they would deflect attention from their own fallacies by blaming the slogan of Jai Shri Ram. That is the tragedy of this country.
Okay, again, I guess, one sec, bro. I guess what we are really debating is that letter, right? Is there anything in that letter that is political by nature? You are from BJP. No,
I now want to move to okay. Pratibha and Sameer will speak now. Wait a minute, Ashok Pandit. You see, Pratibha.
I'm just going to appeal to all your sanity here. It's a very simple kind of a problem out here. We're not on two sides. We're on the same side. That's what you said.
Thank you. Calm down.
All that I'm saying, just calm down and listen. What we are saying, I mean, we're not talking about 2002 or 1984 or 1989. We're talking about now. And Arnab gave you statistics now, okay? No. There was a prime minister for 10 years before Mr. Modi took over. So did that prime minister ever speak on any issue? Did you
voted that prime minister out.
Did you? One second.
Pratibha, you don't give up. Continue.
That's why they got 50 seats.
Pratibha, continue.
For God's sake,
why don't you let Pratibha speak? Why are you so intolerant by nature?
Not tolerant.
I'm just saying, how many of you wrote letters to that prime minister, and how many of you expected? Oh, please, for God's sake, just wait for me to. Just please listen to me. Just listen to me.
Ashok, let us speak. Ashok, Kunika, speak to Pratibha. Speak to Pratibha, not him.
Okay, I'm just saying, do you remember
Kunika and Pratibha.
When Nirbhaya happened, it happened right in the heart of Delhi.
Kunika and Pratibha.
The whole of city of Delhi was
Kunika and Pratibha has given the debate. Kunika and Pratibha only. Only Kunika and Pratibha. Ashok, let us speak.
You know, you all have the same demand for ruling party. Everything that happened goes back to 1964. Or it goes to 19. Let's talk about.
She's talking to her.
Children are getting killed.
Ashok, don't interrupt, please.
No, it goes back to Nehru or it goes back to 1984.
You be quiet, please.
Nirbhaya happened and the women's law.
Kunika, I will.
What are you saying? It just happened.
Let Pratibha complete. Somebody let Pratibha complete.
It happened very
I know.
The elections. It happened just before the transition happened from one government to another government. Okay.
The
Nirbhaya issue.
Where was the 62?
Did anybody?
Where was the 62?
For God's sake.
Where were you, ma'am? You're a secretary of the letter. Where were you?
I was holding a candle.
I was also. Even I was holding. I was holding a candle. I'm in a candle march.
I mean, just listen to me. Just listen to me, Kanika. Just listen to me.
I promise you.
Kanika, for God's sake, just listen to me.
Let's talk about a progressive country.
We are talking about a progressive country, for God's sake.
ना देखें, बहुत गलतियां हुई है, उन गलतियों को भुगत रहे लोग, उन गलतियों अशोक पंडित जी आपसे बात नहीं कर रही हूँ.
Ashok, you got to pipe down. Ashok, I want her to speak. Ashok, please.
Why are you outshouting me, Kanika?
Please let her speak. Please. No, but I can't hear her. She's asking. I'm asking you. Please be quiet.
Just give me 2
Okay,
minutes.
continue, Pratibha. Pratibha, you continue.
Please, Kanika, for God's sake. I mean, just what I'm saying
continue,
is,
Pratibha.
when the whole country was in angst, the whole country was in so much despair. Did you write a letter to the Prime Minister to come out and make a statement? No one did. No one did. None of us did. One second, let me finish. Let me finish. Yeah, let me finish. All that I'm saying is that
Pratibha,
Pratibha, just 1 second.
Pratibha, listen to Pratibha.
I'm not going.
How many times I'm telling you that I'm standing right here? Let us speak.
I'm not a party spokesperson.
Yeah, let us speak.
I'm not. I'm also a concerned citizen. What I'm saying is that now you're writing to Prime Minister for everything. Any small thing happens, you write the Prime Minister. Law and order is a state subject. Manipur already has an anti-lynching law. Listen to me. Manipur already has an anti-lynching law.
After her.
UP has started the process of having an anti-lynching law.
The process is on.
It's on. Yes, it's already
That's what I'm telling you.
It's there. And Madhya Pradesh also has started a process of having an anti-lynching law. Yeah, and lynching is a North Indian problem.
Nobody's in denial about it. Nobody's in denial about it. The point is,
listen to me. It is because of social hierarchy, because of social repression, because of so many other problems in society. But I'm saying that how can you appropriate yourselves?
I've forgotten what was the first part of your question.
Okay,
don't stop.
It was not a question. It was not a question.
So
You never allow me to speak.
May I answer?
How are you going to answer?
I'm answering. May I tweak the debate? Okay, Pratibha, you had your say. Kunika Sadanand, please wait.
First of all,
Kunika, 1 minute. Kunika, wait a while, please.
Oh God, you're going to speak in the middle now.
No, I'm not speaking in the middle. I'm trying to get a. God, what kind of panel do I have today? Listen to me in the way. Saira, that's what. Saira, 1 minute. Wait a minute. Just 1 minute. Can I make an intervention? my limited intervention and is, first of all, there's a disadvantaged citizen sitting to my right who hasn't spoken a word.
No, he spoke very well.
Samir, my sympathies are with you. We're the same kind of people. We get bullied. The question is, Samir, Ravi, please wait. Please wait. I haven't said good morning to you yet. You say, Arnab. Wait a minute. Samir, listen. The fact is, my point is there and can I have a minute, please? Thank you. Wow. Okay, now here. There is an ecosystem in my view. This ecosystem is created to spin master a narrative that suits their agenda. You denigrate India, and many people are now beginning to ask, are you constantly running down the success of this nation? Absolutely. Yes. Right? And I asked them some straight questions, and I'll give you one example, right? When you are too eager to try and prove that Muslims are being tortured in this country, I'll give you one example. In October 2018, Samir, there were reports about how an 8-year-old boy died following a scuffle between two groups of boys in a madrasa. And Sheila Rashid tweeted, quote, "Hate crimes against Muslims on the rise in India. God will never forgive Modi for inciting this frenzy." Okay. Allow me to complete my point. Please, it's a very interesting case in point. You see what happened after that? What happened after that? Ravi, no, what happened after that? What happened? Just be quiet. Let me complete. Sheila Rashid said, God will never forgive Modi. God will never forgive Modi for inciting this frenzy that an 8-year-old boy died. A 7.5-year-old boy. The boy's father then came and spoke out, and he says, "Why, this is not a case of communal clash. An accident led to my son's death. Please don't politicize the issue." So an 8-year-old boy dies in an accident, and Sheila Rashid says that Modi is behind the death of Muslim boys. I find this. No, I tell you one thing. I tell you one thing. Asha Bhosle asked.
You give us time, right?
Asha Bhosle asked this week. Dam maro dam, bolo subah sham, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Can I perform this evergreen song or not?
Yes,
what does this prove? It proves that the nation is tired of the fake outrage of the lobby. The nation is tired with the fake outrage of this lobby.
We are becoming
That's the fake outrage.
Do we get time now?
Arnab, can I get time now? I've been requesting you for the last half an hour. Arnab, can I get time? Arnab, what is this?
You're proving that you are
about to spoken.
How many of you are speaking?
Because it's my turn. You took over.
3 of you know. You decide any of you. Okay. We are going to be quiet. One of them will speak. No, first of all, you decide with Kanika who speaks. You decide among yourself.
No, I haven't spoken.
Okay, you decide among yourself.
I'm speaking, and I don't want any interference. Okay, now Arnab just said that Mr. Modi is going to be active in framing anti-lynching law. Let me tell you. Okay, let me finish. Let me finish, please. 1 minute. Okay, now the state cannot be seen complicit in anti-minority emotions. So what it does, it keeps vigilant groups alive so that the blame doesn't directly fall on their shoulders. All these private armies, keep quiet. Private armies are operating.
Okay, let us speak. Sarah, continue.
Private armies are extorting money.
Okay, Ashok, God's sake, yeah.
Arnab, please control him. Arnab, please control him. Arnab, please control him.
Ashok, I don't want you to intervene. Ashok Pandit, please. I'll come to you. I'll give you time on your own, Ashok. Please wait.
Ashok Pandit, let me speak.
Ashok, I need studio producers. I need studio producers.
I agree. Sarah.
Okay, we pause.
I'm going to go sit with them.
I've not finished my sentence.
Ashok, please stop.
I have not finished my sentence.
Okay, Ashok and Samir and Saira will debate. Samir, stand up. It's the only way to be heard today.
Okay. I have not been able to...
You debate with her after. You address Sameer. Address Sameer.
Okay.
Address
so
Sameer.
now what happens is the state cannot be seen complicit in anti-minority harassment, lynchings, whatever. So parallelly, it lets this vigilant group run amok. Okay, in the name of... One second, keep quiet. Keep quiet. In the name of cow vigilantism. In the name of cow vigilantism.
No, please be polite to each other.
Yes, because
don't shout at her.
You're heckling me. I said, allow me a minute. I said, allow me a minute. Who are you to heckle me?
No,
I'm not heckling you. I'm saying you. I said it's paranoia
and me.
You're saying you have private army.
She's having a contrary point of view.
That's
paranoia. No, you finish it. Once you finish. Okay, so it
Ashok, let them
flex
debate
muscles, it will extort money, it will lynch people, and no one has anything against Jai Shri Ram. Okay, the problem is when you take out your majoritarian viewpoint and you harass people in the name of Ramji, in the name of Lord Ram, who is revered by everyone, who is respected by everyone.
Tell him to be quiet. Sameer, get Ashok to be quiet first. Ashok, Sameer is intervening. Please calm down. Please calm down. Please calm down. Calm down, Sameer is intervening.
Okay. Why not?
Sameer, you be quiet. Ashok is good. Calm down. Okay, Ashok, be quiet for a minute. Ashok, be quiet for a minute. My question here is this. So we are resuming the debate. The floor is to Sameer Soni. Sameer Soni, uninterrupted now.
Okay, thank you. Firstly, I agree with Sarah, what you just said, that there is a possibility that the government might be using this to go with the right wing. Once let me finish. Right wing fundamentalist issues, okay, and terrorizing the minorities. That's a possibility. Mayank, as for you, hang on. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. Okay, Mayank, you're saying that hey, look, they choose to take lynching as an issue. They have the right. Perfectly on thing, and I agree with all of you. But the question is the letter really about lynching? Or is it about BJP being a right-wing party?
You should Let me finish.
Sarah, I kept quiet. My question is simple, is the motivation of the letter. Is it about lynching is happening and there's no law and order?
Yes.
Or is it about...
Basically that.
Okay, hang on. In which case, using the phrase that Jai Shri Ram to me seems like ironical. If Mayank, 1 second, if
it's
you
want,
let him complete.
There are a lot of facts, man.
Yeah.
So you can't.
So is this. So is this.
Ashok,
all the examples that Arnab gave.
Mayank and Sameer, directors. Mayank and Sameer on the debate, please. Go on, Mayank. Go on, Sameer. Go on, calmly.
That they chose this one thing. But I'm asking the motivation, and honestly, in my eyes, all these 49 people fell down.
Fine.
Because once again, let me finish. I'll tell you, I'll finish my point, then you can go ahead, okay?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, if I'm an intelligent man, okay? And I think, oh Lord, there's law and order is not happening. We need to do something. And I am an activist and I feel passionately about it. Is this the way I will go about? And 49 so-called great minds will come up with this kind of a letter.
Hang on,
let me finish.
What do you think they should do?
I get to answer, right? I'm going to answer.
No, hang on.
You finished, right?
49 people will take the law in hand. No, hang on.
Ashok, you got to be quiet now.
I think, look, I mean,
Ashok,
exactly. If you were like in Nirbhaya case, people did directive action was taken on a specific case. Aparna Sen was asked which lynching you're talking about. She could not even quote one lynching.
Don't bring personality.
No, but that's she's heading
personality.
You the leader.
Okay, now last point, Mayank, then I'll shut up.
Sure.
Okay, my last point is, all these 49 people, in my eyes, have fallen down because I think this is, let me finish and you can say whatever you want to say after that. To me personally feels that in the garb of, lynching, they are saying something much profound, and I would have respected them much more if they called a spade a spade.
Okay, good point. Now I'm coming with an intervention. My intervention, before I come to you, I've got to make a very important intervention right now. I've got to make a very important intervention right now so that the debate is moderated. Kunika, you're not the anchor of the program, so listen to me.
You're not letting us answer.
I am making a small point because I am letting you answer. I'm not like you.
No, you're not letting us
Listen
answer.
to me. Kunika, I make a small point and the viewers would want to hear what my small point is, or at least I assume they would.
To be small
my question is this, that A, lynchings are unfortunate, but they have happened in this country for a long time. As I'm putting out this broadcast, as of this minute while we're recording this, there has been a lynching in Patna, okay? Because someone suspected of kidnapping a child has been lynched and apparently killed. Now that's it. So the question here is it an act of lawlessness, or is this a reflection of a breakdown of law and order, or is this communal? Now, if we want, we can then go into further into detail and say,
I'll take
and
that.
allow me to complete the point, please. You know, this is, please, if we look at the victim, whether the victim is Hindu or Muslim, if it happens to be that the victim is Muslim, then we'll say it is communal. If it is Hindu, we'll say it's lawlessness. 1 minute. Second point here is, and a very pertinent point. You see, the same people out of these 49, or most of them also wrote a letter before the elections. They joined the election campaign. Before the elections, they came out in the open and they said, listen, please vote against the BJP.
Yes,
so they were political. Now the same people are saying, Mr. Modi, we love you, but there is lynching. The question is, it was political. It is an election issue, and I just wished that all of you would have the honesty to admit your political interest in the matter.
I want to speak. Let me speak.
I'll take it now.
If you are political, say so.
Saira, please, we let you speak. Can I
Okay, Kunika wants to.
First of all,
No, Kunika.
First of all, okay, thank you so much. First of all, I want to reply.
You don't need to thank me.
To Samir. He said this letter looks like these people have another agenda. According to me, this other letter looks like they have an agenda of whitewashing the BJP image. Quite. So Ashok, please. Okay, they're whitewashing the BJP image, and when actually, if they had not written that letter, this letter would have probably died down. You have aggravated the issue. But anyway, and you are adding to the image which is being destroyed if you are saying that they are destroying it. First of all, second thing, what ma'am said, that it's a state subject. Look, BJP rules most of the states, and there's nothing that I'm an advocate, and I'm telling you that nothing can take away from the legislative and the center to make a law. In 2018, this was an order given by the Supreme Court. They have still not acted on it, and not only that, the first session of Parliament has just got over. They passed 50 bills in spite of the opposition, and in spite of not taking to a standing committee. They could have also passed this mob lynching bill. They didn't do it. And by the way, ma'am, it's a state subject, but if the center makes a law, it can percolate down to all the states as well, even if it's a state subject, if it is in the benefit of the country.
Would you believe in one? I ask you today. I'm asking you. You are an uninformed person. I'm asking you. Ashok, I'll come to you. First of all, are you willing to debate with Ashok?
Yes, one second. You asked me. You said. No, 1 second. I will debate with him. I will not shout with him. You asked me. Mayank and Ashok, I'm not finished. I'm answering Arnab now.
How do you target
I'm answering Arnab now.
We have seen how reviewers they are intolerant.
Ashok, for heaven's sake, I'm answering Arnab.
We have seen that also.
These people whom you said were political. Arnab, can you tell these people to keep quiet, please?
Who say they are intellectual.
You asked me. You asked a question. You said these people who are in the elections.
Ashok, you're done. Ashok, don't go into it.
You said.
Okay, Ashok, if you want to debate, you must debate to our points.
Ashok, I'm answering what you said.
No, you just speak to it.
No, you said something about them being in the political fray. And then once the election
I
was over,
said that those people were campaigning against the BJP.
1 second, no.
I can prove it.
I'm answering.
I can prove
those people who wrote the letter also.
So let us speak. I want to hear
Some of those people who wrote the letter, the 62 people, are also political appointees in various boards. So should we take this as a political letter too? And it's not about Hindu Muslims.
Ashok, studio manager.
Every crime is a crime.
Masks have been worn by you. Masks have been worn by you, not by us. We are openly support Modi. We openly support his government.
I can't hear you. You don't understand. Ashok, I make a point. Guys, please engage through me. I am, when I make a point, there's no point shouting at each other like this. The point was specific out here, and yes, Saira. Yes, I did say out. Saira, when I take your name and I'm making a point to you, Saira, you want to talk to Ashok only. I'm asking you a question. No. I'm asking you a point. Saira, I'm asking you a point.
Yes.
My point is this, that before the election, and for God's sake, let me complete my point. Before the election, this entire group said, please.
Why did you have a problem if they became
No, you don't know my question.
No?
You don't know my question.
They openly said
I'm
not
walking
to
out if you
BJP.
want to debate with Ashok. Yeah, I'm asking you because either you don't want to answer my questions or I genuinely believe that you think that I will bring facts in my questions which will be so specific that you won't be able to answer it. So you want to do this grandstanding with Ashok Pandit. Thank you.
Just give us time.
Okay, here's a fact. Here's a fact on the debate. Here's a fact on the debate. Nasiruddin Shah and 600 other people before the election said, Muslims, Indians, citizens of India, your constitution is under threat. Please don't vote for Modi. Please don't vote for the BJP in public and in open. They said it. Okay? One. I have no problem with that. Amol Palekar, Nasiruddin Shah, the late Girish Karnad, no problem. I preface it by saying no problem. No problem. I say no problem. Stop it, Ashok. I said no problem, but I have a problem when these people say they are non-political. One. Point number two. Then elections happen. And what is the election? The election is not 300 seats. You know what is interesting in the election? 41% of seats in India where the Muslim vote is the make or break. 41% of seats in India where the Muslim vote is make or break go straight for the BJP, which means Muslims vote for the BJP.
Which means Congress failed them.
No, it doesn't mean. It means your paranoia spreading did not work. It means you think failed politically. What? Who wants to debate it?
We don't agree with the logic.
Saira's debating with me. Saira's doing a stand-up. Saira's doing stand-up right now. Saira's doing out the debate. Both of you on both sides. Start doing it.
Some very absurd allegations.
Voted for gas connection.
Wait for her and then after. Debate with him. No, don't sit. Stand up and debate.
Aam Aadmi dismissed communalism. They voted for gas connection. They voted for ghar. They voted for toilets.
BJP supporter, I know that. So yes, at least you are appreciating the work done by BJP. And rest assured, when we give those gas connections, we don't see whether the person belongs to minority community or the majority community. That is why the minority community also believes in us.
Muslims also voted.
You will never do that. We are also giving you money. You cannot do that.
Your money.
You just now asked me to contradict you.
She's debating.
One second, please. Ravi, please. So I'm not denying Muslims did not vote for BJP. I'm saying definitely, but they chose the common muddas of the common man. They did not say that religion khatre mein hai, to BJP ko vote na do. They voted because they benefited from the policies. But here,
they did not agree with you.
Here you mean to say people like Soumitra Chatterjee, people like Aparna Sen, Ram
they are ignorant. I'm telling you. They are ignorant. Arnab has the facts.
They are not bad people, but they are hypocrites.
They are ignorant. They are political.
Sarah, just a few minutes ago, you had made a
feud with everyone, right from Hrithik Roshan. You name it.
A few minutes ago,
she has gone bonkers. The woman has gone bonkers.
You are personal.
She has a feud.
Kankana, no.
Yes, she has a feud with everybody.
Okay, on a serious note. Okay, Pratibha Prahlad, I want to come to you. Once, just sit down. Okay, sit down. Ravi, you're lucky to answer the question.
Don't worry. Just 10 seconds. You will be out.
Ravi, I have a question for you.
Don't worry.
Ravi, I have a question now for Ravi.
Okay.
Do it.
You have a basic problem which you are delusional.
Private armies are not operating. Vigilant groups that are taking law in their own hands are not happening. Who killed Sumant Kumar Singh in Bulandshahr? Who killed Sumant Kumar Singh? Where were you when Sumant Kumar Singh got lynched
killings, all the killings through a common prism. We don't differentiate between majority killing and minority killing. For us, every killing is a hate crime which should be done immediately. Konika ji, if you were to only demand
could you please take your seat?
strong
Could you please take your seat?
I would
Thank
have supported you.
Could you
But by
please
mentioning the Jai Shri Ram slogan, you have clearly given it
can I
a
make
religious
Toin, with
cue.
your permission?
That is what
An intervention from my side. Mike, an intervention from my side. 1 minute, please. Everyone, intervention from my side. Just a minute. Ravi.
Can we counter you?
Okay, my question is to Ravi Srivastav. Ravi, okay, drink that glass of water. You surely need it, and so do I. And now, Ravi,
Sorry for becoming hoarse because you guys are shrieking, so we have to also increase our volume.
That's all right. I know you are usually soft-spoken.
Others, I'm soft-spoken, but
Yes.
the way you all are going hoarse.
That's what you're
you guys are going
calm down now,
hoarse.
Ashok,
We
please.
need to calm down.
Okay, Ravi Srivastav.
Our voices are not
Ravi, can you kindly stand up, sir? Look, I can't hear you.
Our voices
Ashok Pandit, you're not Kishore Kumar. Don't do playback singing. My question is, Ravi.
That's what I'm saying.
And talking down
Don't
to
teach
people.
me.
No, you need to change it. You're intolerable.
Don't teach me. You're intolerable.
Ravi, my point is on this, that you see Mir Jafar had joined hands with the British to betray his own. Allow me to complete my point. Mir Jafar joined hands to demolish the Bengal army and he handed Bengal to the British. Now, the lobby, in my view, are the modern day Mir Jafar. Because in no other country, I'll tell you why, allow me to complete. Allow me to complete. I must be allowed to complete my point, and I'm not making a personal point. In no other, yes, allow me. In no other country are individual incidents used to brand a country as Lynchistan. Otherwise, I wish to know that Arundhati Roy loves to give interviews to that Jurassic Park organization called the BBC. My question is this: in her next interview to the BBC, will the Right Honourable Arundhati Roy say that following the Christchurch attacks in New Zealand, the number of cases in Britain, 593% rise in anti-Muslim hate crimes and lynchings in Britain in the following week, 95 incidents of hate crime were reported across the United Kingdom from 15th March to 21st March. I would like to know whether Arundhati Roy, instead of abusing India, would go to the BBC and say that Great Britain is Lynchistan. Would she say that? Would she say that? That is the question that we want to know. The question is to you. You brand the country.
Everywhere, your India BJP party is being criticized. In US, in UK, during the ICC match, they said they put up a balloon there, stop mob lynching. Are you aware of that? Did you see that?
Sir, I follow up.
Your image is aligned because of your act. It is not aligned because of
Ashok, I want to bring in Pratibha Prahlad. Pratibha Prahlad, I give one more example to elucidate my point. 1 minute. To elucidate my point. I have absolutely no problem. If mistakes and unfortunate incidents in this country, there is righteous indignation over it. But I refuse to believe that it is not part of... Sir, it is wrong of you. Sir, it is wrong of you. The country would want to hear my view. I am saying today you are branding my country, and I want to give you the example of other countries. Please allow me to complete. I just gave the example of the United Kingdom, and now, Pratibha, to you at least, the only person who listens to me on the program, I want to give the example of the United States. Now, these people, in the United States, 503 people are killed by the US police in 2019 alone. 1 minute. State police. 900 killings are reported. 40% of the people who are killed are non-American. Right? Will the Mir Jafars of this country say that America is Lynchistan? They won't, because their financial support and base comes from Uncle Sam. That's my question tonight.
It is too much. You are maligning 49 intellectuals of this country who have done proud to the country in their field. As a historian, as an
I thought Pratibha should speak.
As a doctor, they have done proud to the country.
But Mayank wants to attack me. Mayank wants to attack me. Mayank and Pratibha.
Arnab, you use the word Lynchistan. Did you read that word Lynchistan in that letter, or is it your interpretation?
I have seen the use. Yes, Mir Jafar.
I'm sorry.
Mir Jafars.
Is this not a tukre thing to say? Is this not a tukre thing to say? To spread hatred in this manner?
He's taking me on. I don't need covering for. I'll take him on. Punika, don't defend him. He can take me on.
Yeah.
And unlike all of you, I'm not intolerant.
Is that not a tukre thing to say?
Okay,
to call people who care about certain issues in this country, who write a letter to their Prime Minister, calling them Mir Jafar. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry too.
Okay,
One second. I'm sorry too. I'm sorry too, Mayank. I'm badly sorry too.
Is Arundhati Roy a signatory to that letter? No. You're bringing her up for absolutely no reason.
She's the most anti-national person I know.
Is she a signatory to that letter? Is that part of this debate? No. So you use three things. You use three things that you will only use
I gave
when
an
you have
example.
no argument to make.
Allow me.
You will use all these,
my dear friend Mayank.
No argument
Mayank,
to make.
one thing.
You're calling names. You're spreading hate. You're calling them Mir Jafars. You're calling them anti-national.
Yes, I am.
You're calling. This is ridiculous.
Why are you
I will tell you why somebody would do that. Because there are enough videos out there. There are enough videos out there where my religion, your religion has been misused. My religion, has been misused. It is a serious. It is a law and order.
Pratibha Prahlad.
You agree with it.
Pratibha Prahlad would like to speak. Pratibha, don't stop. Pratibha, continue.
Only two.
Did that happen? Should not happen.
Calm down.
Should I look away? Should I look away? If in a country of a billion people, if in a
requesting you, Ashok.
Okay, Mayank.
I'll just finish
problem
I'll just
is
finish the
that-
point and you can just start.
Okay.
If in a country of 1 billion people, 1 billion plus people, where 80% population is Hindu, right? If Hindus believe that maybe those 20% who are from another religion, they need to be protected, what is possibly wrong with that? What is possibly wrong with that? If they feel apprehensive, if they feel apprehensive,
forward you right now. These are 50 hate crimes where the victim has been Hindu in the last 2 or 3 years. Rest assured, the Hindu community has always been the most tolerant community, and that is why the country is so peaceful. That is why the country has not become
thanks to you. We're all country.
I want to make a point. I want. Okay, Ashok, Mike. All of you have made some points. I'm not coming in for myself. I'm coming in for the democratic right of Pratibha Prahlad to participate in the debate.
Okay.
Thank you, Pratibha.
You know, you're jumping.
Pratibha.
So, 1 second. You're jumping from issue to issue.
Pratibha.
No, there's so many issues out here.
Mike, you made a very long intervention. Thank you.
The issue here, Mayank, maybe you're unaware, is that some people of this country, go abroad and talk ill of India.
Yeah.
They berate India.
All
They
the
berate
time,
our
all the
country.
time, all
And
the time.
Arundhati Roy is one of them.
Leading
She caters.
Critical appreciation.
She caters. She gives interviews on BBC. The Guardian, The Economist, and they all write about her. Why?
continue,
Because
please.
she's an English-speaking person.
Feedback to the government.
Oh, just 1 second. Just
Please stop. Please stop.
Have you ever seen any
Can
other
she continue
writer
to speak,
or
please,
intellectual of
Sarah?
any other country?
No, please
go
let her speak.
overseas
Don't do this.
and talk about their own country.
Millions of writers will take on the American government in foreign press. So what?
She's asked for asylum. Okay, we given her asylum.
Doesn't know the difference between constructive criticism and destructive criticism. She is harming the reputation of the country across the world.
If speaking for the marginalized, I'm sorry.
Let her speak.
God's name, it is highly wrong. If lynching is happening, invoking a God's
course it
name,
is wrong.
again,
Just 1
is there.
second, Saira.
You need to
finish.
Saira. Saira, let Pratibha finish. Let Pratibha
Let me
finish.
finish, okay? But
Let
denigrating
Pratibha
your
finish.
country, if you're getting awards, if you're getting, lot of foreign
Let her finish.
currency.
That they're winning awards for berating the country.
I'm part of the. I'm part of that whole artist club. You're not in that artist club,
Are you
okay?
hallucinating?
Intellectuals club.
Are you
I know it.
hallucinating? No.
Why would I hallucinate?
No.
Why?
No.
Please, I'm just part of that whole thing.
to you because
No, don't.
Absolutely.
Please, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Okay, first of all, Kunika, both of you are being very unfair to Pratibha. Kunika, you are being very unfair to Pratibha here.
No, she just
No, you have to let her speak. You know, both of you are heckling her. This is unfortunate.
I bow down to you, man.
Pratibha means we are.
I'm just saying I'm part.
Punika, you should not do this. I don't expect this from you.
No,
Of course not.
You have a halo around your head. Rest are riffraff.
Okay, listen. You are the intellectuals and I'm a monkey, okay?
No,
I've said it on public
nobody said
television.
that.
Now, let's just
Nobody
get
said
that aside. That's not the point.
Get it on the side, please.
That's not the point.
I would like
the
to have a
point I'm
word.
trying to make is that, you know, the 3-4 points that, you know, Arnab made and
Which
then
I have
you
not
made,
been allowed to
you
make.
know, yeah, which we were not allowed to make. One was Arundhati Roy. Why Arundhati Roy? She's not a signatory. We know she's not a signatory, but there's a whole, you know, kind of a campaign going on, a whole propaganda going on. And that is why somebody, just 1 second. And many.
Modi goes outside and talks about what has been happening in India all these years.
See what
Is
I'm
that fine?
saying?
What about when he keeps on degrading everything that happens in India all these 70 years?
Who
Is
has
that
been
okay?
doing that? No, it's
He's
not.
the
What about you?
ambassador of the country and he talks like this.
Now who's doing what about you?
In every situation, in every platform, is that okay?
Viewers,
Why you
Pratibha
question
Prahlad
Modi?
is being heckled on the program.
Mr. Modi goes and washes dirty linens outside.
And start a debate on Godse. You're trying to portray Godse as a patriot. Shame on you. You are trying to portray Godse as a patriot, and you're trying to prove Mahatma Gandhi as an anti-nationalist. Shame on you.
Propaganda which these intellectuals believe in. This is the WhatsApp propaganda which these so-called self-proclaimed intellectuals come with.
And you want Godse
Okay.
father of the nation.
Okay, may I know?
The Prime Minister indicted, you know, Pragya Thakur publicly.
Enough. Thank you. My point was, would you take an unfortunate incident in another country and call the country names? One example. And these are well-read people. All the 49 must know that in Charlottesville, 2017, August, United States of America, there's a Unite the Right rally where white supremacists and neo-Nazi groups come out and say, Jews will not replace us. One protester killed by a neo-Nazi. Did anybody say United States is anti-Semitic? No. One, you said if religion is used for the wrong reasons, we must always speak up. A Muslim man kills a Jewish woman in an anti-Semitic attack in April 2017 in France. Did Shamana Azmi say the mahal of France is wrong? In November 2010, there is an attack on an Indian man in Melbourne, following which 10 other Indians are attacked. No national database of hate crimes in Australia. Did you question Australia then? No. However, on the other side, I will also turn around and ask that when our country is abused, in other words, when when an American media house, New York Times, puts out articles mocking India's moon mission with pictures of Indians with cows being locked out of the elite space club. Now they are quiet after Chandrayaan 2. Was there any one of these people who said, New York Times, fake narrative? So you don't speak up for India, but you constantly speak against India. You say vote against Modi and BJP before the elections, but you say you are not political. I mean, how many times do I have to expose you for you to understand?
So
the lobby wrote a letter.
To India now. BJP
I'm sorry, there were two different examples I used.
So one political party,
I think
India.
That's what she's saying.
India is multi-ethnic. It is different political parties. That is why we are still a democracy. India is not one India.
Okay, tell me one thing. Saira, question for you. Saira, 1 minute. There are others. Saira, there are others. See, the question is, and I want to bring in Samir. I was very upset, and I want to bring in Samir because he's not coming in on his own. Samir, the question is, Binayak Sen, who is part of the person writing the letters, is a convicted terrorist. Can a convicted terrorist preach peace? Is a question. Is he or is he not a convicted Maoist? Is he or is he not? Please tell me.
As per the law, even a convicted person has fundamental rights, and one of the rights is to write to his elected representative or his prime minister or president, which is why the appeal also stands with the president.
It's okay for them. If they
I don't understand your point. Is this individual, was the individual arrested for colluding with Maoist
He
terrorists?
still has the right. You can't take away the right.
And was he jailed?
He still has the right.
He was granted bail last year.
He still has the
of
right.
course he has the right, but he has no credibility.
Go to the
So
Supreme
don't
Court
take his credibility.
to
Take the
protect
other
Afzal Guru.
48 people's credibility.
They go
But
to
he
the
still has the
Supreme
right.
Court late in
As
the
a
night
citizen
at
of this
3 o'clock
country,
to protect him.
the Constitution gives him the right.
And this individual, I'm only pointing out, Ashok, my point to you is, Ashok, this same individual, Binayak Sen, a day after the Pulwama terrorist attack, was celebrating by saying, military and militant violence must end, and democratic aspirations of people of Kashmir must rise. He was virtually celebrating.
Who's this?
Binayak Sen, one of your 49 worthies, who wrote the letter. How did you get him into that club? A person you didn't know about this.
We didn't sign the letter.
What is your real agenda?
We're making a very, very broad point.
Pratibha is laughing now. Pratibha is laughing. Pratibha can respond.
Political appointees on that letter that they have signed.
No, Pratibha is laughing.
Can I just respond to you, Pratibha? The point you made, Pratibha, the point you made was about how someone like Arundhati Roy writes stuff that is not in, that doesn't show India in a positive light in international papers. Let's say The Guardian, as you mentioned, perhaps the New York Times as well. The Economist.
BBC.
Have you seen the stuff that The Economist or The Guardian or the New York Times writes against American government or the British government? Does that make them anti-national? Does that make them? It's a society. It's a society in dialogue. It's a society in dialogue. That's what journalism does too. That's what journalists do. That's what journalism is supposed to do as well.
Sweeping under the carpet now. There is no closed club. Everything is out on the public.
Address Konika, he's speaking.
Everything is out on the public platform. You can't hide it.
Which goes to the Supreme Court.
Politically motivated.
To protect all the terrorists who have been convicted and going to be hanged. These are the same people.
And he's the Home Minister.
They're the same Kamal who goes to the Supreme Court.
The tragedy of the times is the Home Minister was also a convict.
Pragya Thakur is an
He was not a convict. Those cases were politically motivated, and those cases did not stand. You can be sued with a defamation case if you make these information. The fact is, you are factually so inadequate.
What about Pragya Thakur?
The cases didn't stand. The cases didn't stand. That's what I say. You believe in the WhatsApp university. Your information is all downloaded from WhatsApp and WhatsApp forwards.
Ashok Pandit, I'm not going to talk to you. You can keep shouting. Ashok
As a
Pandit, I'm not going to
well-wisher,
talk to
I'm
you.
telling
What
you,
about Pragya
when you
Thakur?
make CDs,
Ashok, I cannot hear when you're debating. Ashok, you got to be. Ashok, please. Ashok, you don't. Ashok, he's speaking.
Just now you said convicted. He was arrested, and all of those cases were politically motivated, which is not said. As a well-wisher, I'm telling you, please be careful when you say things like he was convicted, because you can actually be charged for defamation.
No,
You're factually incorrect.
Don't talk about Amit Shah. I'm asking you
factually
simple.
incorrect.
Okay, Tuinji. Pragya Thakur.
Right. I agree, sir. I'm not denying. He was arrested and he was declared Taliban for 3 months. 3 months.
Research नहीं करते.
That happened. That's the fact.
राहुल गांधी की तरह ना वो ऊपर आप किसी भी विषय पर
I have given you so many examples.
Amit Shah जी का केस बंद हो चुका है. Pragya Thakur जी का केस चल रहा है.
बना दिया है.
टेरर का नैरेटिव
प्रज्ञा ठाकुर को आपने पार्लियामेंट में डाल दिया है.
I want to ask you one minute. You are only shouting today. Saira, this is not a way to debate. Saira, you did not debate like this earlier. Saira, you got to stop. Saira, you did not do this earlier. Samir.
We live in a democracy, we all agree, right?
Yes.
Now,
And you have the right to speak.
What the majority of the people say, well, that has to happen, correct? Right?
No.
You might not like it or dislike
No,
it.
that's not the same thing as democracy. Democracy doesn't mean majoritarism. No. Even a single person, I could be
That's such a...
I think you're confusing democracy as elections.
No, I'm not confusing anything.
When there was a okay. Let me intervene here now. Let me intervene. See, again, I want to make 2 points to you. And most of the cases here are now, and Aparna Sen is from Bengal. So I'll give you 2 examples as case in point. And I must ask you, I have asked 30 questions here, not one reply. No. I'll tell you one, you are all shouting together, you don't reply. Otherwise, I'll ask one of you to answer a question. You see, eminent Muslims in June 2019, in Bengal, wrote a letter to Mamata Banerjee. Muslims wrote a letter saying, Mamata Banerjee, please stop Muslim appeasement. And you know why they did it? Because there was an ex-Miss India called Ushoshi Sengupta or someone who was attacked, I think near Park Street or somewhere in Kolkata. And Mamata Banerjee did nothing. Second example, there was a brutal assault on junior doctors of the NRS Medical College. Mamata Banerjee did nothing. In both cases, it was apparent to everyone that she's trying to do Muslim appeasement. At that point of time, where the eminent Muslim citizens said, Mamata Banerjee, for God's sake, stop Muslim appeasement. Why was Aparna Sen and the lobby quiet then?
That's the beauty of
Nandita Das, Govind Nehlani, Zoya Akhtar, where were they then? Where were they then?
What is Aparna Sen supposed to say? He no Mamata Banerjee.
You are in Kolkata, you didn't speak.
They don't do anything. That's a good thing.
Those Muslims, Sarah, you should have supported them.
But
Wrote the letter
the whole country supporting them. The whole country supporting them. Check the Twitter. Check the Twitter. The whole country, including me, I was also one of them.
Miss Mamata Banerjee, I've openly spoken about the competitive.
And what is she supposed to say at that time? Oh,
this Muslim appeasement has to stop. It's not about one community. I think everyone, she needs to take.
Question for you, Saira. I have a question. Saira, I have a question for you. Saira, I have a question for you. Saira, I have a question for you. Saira, question for you. Why don't you answer? Take it away. Saira, today across the country, there is a group that is going around outside and inside mosques saying Muslims pick up arms. Now, no.
You can't wage a war against a
So then, where is the letter on it?
You cannot pick up arms.
You need a new law for it?
Where is the letter for it? Of course, no. Where is the letter for it? So where is the letter for it? You write only on issues you need a new law for. This is bizarre. Where is the outrage over it?
Do you need a new law?
Where is the conversation on it?
Outrage is a given.
No, we're given. It's not a given unless articulated. Why don't you write a law? You are asking Muslims to pick up arms against Hindus. Why aren't you picking up a law?
For these 49 people, with due respect to them, to me, a bunch of cowards and hypocrites. Call spade a spade. If you think your prime minister and the ruling party is fundamentalist, say it. Don't hide behind lynching and say, oh, general lynching. Say Hindus are killing Muslims and the government is doing nothing.
I hate to disappoint you. We don't think he's a fundamentalist, but we know that there's nothing being done. Nothing has been done. Okay? And it's not about black or white. Gray. There's a gray area we talk about.
He helps them. He protects them.
A little while ago that vigilant.
So you are of a view. Samir has a follow-up to your question. I want to ask Konika. 1 minute. Like I asked you a question, I'm asking her. Konika, you are therefore of a view that we have two choices, okay? We have one choice, Manmohan Singh. We have another choice, Narendra Modi. Let me compare the two. I am comparing the two, and I am saying 1 minute. I am putting my point. Kunika, I am speaking to you. Kunika, I'm not. Under Manmohan Singh, maximum incidence of communal violence. Under Narendra Modi, lowest. Under Manmohan Singh, no launch against lynching. Under Narendra Modi, launch against lynching. So you are fine with that. You are fine with the highest number of communal cases, and you are fine with no law against lynchings. You are fine with that as long as it is your Congress party.
And don't waste your breath and time on this.
With corruption, that is why we voted them out.
Okay, tell me one thing. When a slogan. Okay. Ravi.
And lynchings.
So you will okay, fine. One second. When issues concern
UPA 1 and 2.
Ashok.
So we voted them out.
Ashok, for God's sake. Ashok. So Saira to you. Letter writing is a good habit, like Philately was. We're all encouraged as children to write letters. Now my question here is, can I please request you? There is a poster that's going around, which is being put across the Kashmir Valley, which says, Kashmir banega Darul Islam. इस पर एक चिट्ठी कब लिखी जाएगी?
लिखेंगे? Why not? Because why? Why would you advocate terrorism? Why would anyone advocate terrorism? Picking up arms is
not about condemnation.
Picking up arms, fighting against the state, waging war against the state is wrong, and it needs to be condemned univocally. Everyone in one voice. Anyone. Whether it's lynching, whether it's terrorism,
कहने का क्या मतलब है?
मेरा कहने का मतलब वही है कि आप लोग दोहरे मापदंड के लोग हो। हिंदी में कह रहा हूँ, दोहरे मापदंड के लोग हो। आपके दो चेहरे हैं। आप
जो आएगा बोल देंगे।
मैं तो सीधी बात कर रहा हूँ। मैं तो सीधी बात कर रहा हूँ। मैं कह रहा हूँ। अच्छा, you are with the truth. Is it true? Is it true? Ravi, come here. Ravi, I'm talking to Ravi. Ravi.
आपके पास एक संकीर्ण विचार है, उस नैरो माइंडेड विचार के ऊपर आप उसके ऊपर अलग-अलग लोगों को लपेट रहे हैं। कभी अरुंधति रॉय, कभी मनमोहन सिंह। अरे उस बात पे बात कीजिए ना, उस मुद्दे पे बात कीजिए। जिस मुद्दे की चिट्ठी लिखी है।
अरे मुद्दा तो यही है कि सबसे ज्यादा कॉम्युनल इंसिडेंट मनमोहन सिंह के अंडर हुए थे।
कौन कंपेयर कर रहे हैं?
आपने चिट्ठी क्यों नहीं लिखी? आपने आवाज क्यों नहीं उठाई? इतिहास हो गया।
वो इतिहास है।
अभी आप
मनमोहन सिंह जी, ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट नाउ हिस्ट्री।
तो गुजरात राइट्स में इतिहास है। गुजरात राइट्स इतिहास है। गुजरात राइट्स इतिहास है।
निकल आता हूं।
क्या गुजरात राइट इतिहास है? क्या 1984 भी इतिहास है? क्या लोग सब भूल जाए? ये भी आपके दोहरे मापदंड है। अभी हाथ जोड़ के कुछ फायदा नहीं होगा। कुनिका जी अभी हाथ मत जोड़िए, मैं नहीं छोड़ूंगा।
लेकिन आप इतिहास मान लीजिए, ये सारे लिंचिंग एपिसोड्स को आज आप इतिहास मान लीजिए। आज एक नई सोच के साथ यहाँ से शुरुआत कीजिए और आज के बाद आप कभी भी ये कम्युनल फ्लेवरिंग मत कीजिए। ये लिंचिंग जो है खत्म नहीं होगा आपका, लेकिन आप इसको जो है ना ये कम्युनल फ्लेवरिंग देना बंद कर दीजिए। आप अपनी सोच सुधार लेंगे तो देश सुधर जाएगा। आप इस देश को बदनाम करते हैं। आप कहते हैं कि 5 साल बाद नहीं देखा जाता है। 5 सालों में
वचन दे रहे हैं कि इस पार्लियामेंट के सेशन खत्म होने से पहले आप मॉब लिंचिंग के ऊपर एक कानून बनवाएंगे। आप प्रॉमिस कीजिए पहले आप प्रॉमिस कीजिए।
वो तो वही pledge that you will not carry this propaganda any further. You come out and say there is a law and order problem. I will respect you.
Of course there is a law and order problem. Hello. Wake up and smell the coffee. There is a law and order problem.
You know, before your show ends today, I will like to give them a vote of thanks because their antics always strengthen people's faith in the BJP and this government. And I'm sure once again people will back the BJP and this country will back the government because their antics have always only strengthened people's faith in the government.
The letter to the Prime Minister shows that they have faith in his leadership.
Your antics only strengthen people's faith in this government. People are with this government because, in fact, across the world, one of the maximum trusted government is going to be Indian government. If you read facts, the most trusted government in the world is the Indian government. And it's because doubting promises don't have a place in this new narrative.
Well, I would say this then, please understand. I repeat again, please understand, and whether you appreciate or not, there is 2013 and 2018. I will keep putting facts in the debate. There is a 15 to 20% drop in communal incidents after Modi came to power.
Yes, when you make the naughtiest person the monitor, then obviously the class
Please understand. Please understand. One. Kunika, it's a very serious. It's a very serious point. It's a very serious point.
Fantastic. जो लोग जेनोसाइड और राइट कराते थे वही सत्ता में बैठे हैं। ताज्जुब की तो ये बात है कि जो लोग राइट कराते हैं वही पावर में है, वही सत्ता में बैठे हुए हैं। बहुत ताज्जुब की बात है भाई। शाबाश शाबाश शाबाश।
मुझे I'm not understanding. Pratibha. Yeah, when Manmohan Singh was in power, same National Crime Records Bureau said there are 823 incidents of communal violence. Same National Crimes Records Bureau in 2018 says there are about 700. So when the number this year also it is much less. It is much less. Then there is a decrease in communal deaths.
इस साल के बाद नहीं, इस साल के बाद करते हैं।
Did you write a letter? Okay. Then the letter. One second. Then the letter. Allow me. Now I'll make my point. Then the letter to Dr. Prime Minister Modi should have been, Prime Minister Modi, we genuinely appreciate the efforts taken by the government, because of which there's a 20% drop in communal incidents. We would like you to make sure that there is a 20% drop. That would have been okay. But how did you? आप कुछ भी
आप भी कुछ भी
20% drop in communal incidents after Modi came to power.
What are your statistics on
not talking about because
Pardon me.
What are your statistics?
I thought
Arnab, what are your statistics on lynchings?
I am telling this is lynching, including lynchings for your kind information. You are not understanding.
I'm not about communal violence.
My dear, no, my dear. I give up. I give up.
Listen, 1 second, please.
Okay.
The second letter that they wrote, you know, the first, we are referring to the first letter, right? The second letter they wrote, they said, we are specifically talking about the Muslims and the Dalits. We are not concerned about all the other people that you're talking about.
That is a concern. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with having concern
why are they playing minority politics? Why are they don't have compassion or humanitarian consideration for everybody?
We cannot all believe in, we cannot have an issue.
And that is my problem.
Hindus are not
What is wrong
in this country.
No, but why should
they're
they
talking
only
about the minority?
Do you specifically have a problem?
Talk about every crime, talk about every criminal without making them with caste, religion, creed, blush.
लोगों से उनको खौफ है.
No, this is so wrong. This is so wrong of you. This stereotyping will not be allowed. This stereotyping, this is what you wish to have. You have called all Hindus fanatics and you must apologize. You said खौफ है. मैं हिंदू हूँ, मुझे खौफ नहीं है. No, this is wrong. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am at the end of the debate, but I would like to assert once again that I take strong objection to the comment made by Saira Shah Halim कि 80% लोगों को 20% से खौफ है. Hindus have absolutely no hate or fear of Muslims or vice versa. The reality of this country must never be contorted. What are your views on the debate? I'd like to know. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been good having you on the Sunday debate, and I shall see you at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Good night and goodbye.